Speaking of weather, yeah,
Yeah,
it's you're looking golden and glowing. I
I
think you've been
know.
on holiday in Athens recently.
Yeah, I've been in Athens, but well, before Athens, we've been to Spain. So that's why I'm really golden.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
You should
jealous.
see Andrea. Andrea
Oh,
is finally a black man now.
really? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've never seen him tan. That's true. So now I look like I'm basically blue right now next to you because, like, in Mumbai, it's hot all year. We end up hiding from it because it's just too much all the time. So,
Oh my God, it's
yeah.
all year. You don't have winter. I'm really bad with these things. No winter in there. Oh,
Some
wow.
parts of India, of course, but Mumbai is
Yes,
the one
definitely.
place where it's it's very close to 30 degrees C all year round. And like,
Oh
I get
gosh.
excited when we have our winter and it's like a little cool, like if it reaches 22 in an evening, that's like rare, really rare. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So let's start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's start.
And welcome to the Crazy Beautiful Show, the podcast where we paint the world with madness. So we are back finally after this summer break. And if some of you are on summer holiday yet, I am quite jealous. But if you are in a resort at the Alps, because here in Lake Como is damn hot. But without any further ado, let me introduce to you today's guest. I am deeply in love with her. Yesterday, I was really nosy, looking to the thousands of things that she does. She is a multimedia artist. She works with video, drawings, painting, photography, red maids, woodwork, textiles, sounds installation, and many other things, including also Bollywood. So let's give a round of applause to Ellie Fawcett. Hello.
Thank you. Oh.
So I am so happy to have you. Yesterday I was really nosy. I was like just looking to everything. You do thousands of things.
It's yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, as they say, but it is confusing thing, and I think we can talk about it more later, but I think it's a typical neurodivergent person's problem as well, like having too
Yeah,
many
yeah,
interests.
yeah. Because I said to Andre, I was like, oh my gosh, she's also a DJ. And he was like, well, someone is beating you. I was like, yeah. I thought I
Are
was
you
the only
also DJing?
hyperactive. No,
Oh.
I'm not. But I
Ah.
do thousands of things as well. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like, would I ever stop? Or because my mind just go
Yeah.
thousands of ways.
Well, you can't do them all at once, so I have my interests on rotation, like, and when
You
I'm not
do? Oh my
yeah,
God.
when I'm not focusing on one, I pretty much forget how to do it. So I am currently
Wow.
on a mission to get back to DJing, and it's been at least 7 years since I last DJed, which was my
Wow.
last couple gigs were in Mumbai. And I'm like, now
Yeah.
imagine how quickly technology develops these days, right? So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
after the 7 year
Completely.
gap, I'm looking at new CDJs for the first time. I was like a vinyl DJ. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
what does all this do? So I'm like relearning. It's literally. So
I
yeah, that's
love that. I love that. So, Ellie, what you do in Mumbai, like I know what you're doing, but
yeah.
how that all began.
It is very weird and super random and just how it happened, really. But I was living in East London, having a great
Yeah.
time, finishing my master's at St. Martin's and with a very mixed media art practice and DJing
Yeah.
as well on the side. And I had a friend from my art school who was doing some teaching in Bangalore. So I said, I wasn't really ever that interested in visiting India. It wasn't high on my list, but I said,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you're there on your own. Let me come and see you. And I had plans to DJ in South America afterwards and all these grand plans. But I
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
and did some solo traveling. And I felt really culture shocked when I first got here. I was like, oh, everyone's staring at me. Oh, I
I
feel
can
so
imagine
stupid.
that.
What am I doing with all this paper money? Like, I feel like a stupid white person with all this paper. Like, what am I doing? Because, you know, their notes here in India, they start from like 5-10p, you know, like say
Really?
5-10
From
cents.
5p?
Yeah, so imagine you
Wow.
could have a stack of notes in your wallet, and for us, it feels like you're rich, but actually it's not, because they
It's
start
not.
at yeah. And so I think the culture shock and how uncomfortable I was kind of gripped me in a weird way, because then the urge to get comfortable here, I don't know, it gripped me. Something gripped me here, and I could see a life here.
Mhm.
And I did some solo traveling, and I watched a Bollywood film. I was like, oh, this is great. And
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah.
started trying to learn Hindi back in London and singing the
Wow,
songs
you
and
did
everything.
that.
Yeah, I got like
Oh,
really randomly deep into that obsession, which I'm like fully out of that one now. Like most obsessions, I'll be like, that was
yeah.
cool, but now I'm like, why?
No.
Like, I don't watch any of those films anymore. Like, I'm fully out of it. But I still work in that
Yeah.
industry, but yeah.
Yeah, completely outside. Wow, like so you learn indie, you learned to sing songs, and then you're just like, okay, let me move in there. Let me go to
Yeah,
Bollywood.
basically just turned up in Mumbai with my suitcase, was like, oh, take me to this area, and I roamed around, just got a hotel, did Facebook some people, and slowly like got a house, a flat share, but I didn't really know anyone when I first arrived, so yeah, it was
Wow, and how was
random.
this? Like, I know that going there as a tourist is
Yeah,
already a culture clash, but
yeah,
how it was to move from East London to Mumbai, like, how was the culture clash?
it
Was
was very
awful.
surreal. Yeah, it was very surreal, very different.
Surreal.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I like I just lived in other people's shoes for quite a few months, you know, like, because I like doing that, you know, living
Mhm.
their way as such. So I ended up living with a pretty much an influencer who'd won a reality show out here. So
Oh,
so I was just going to clubs in massive heels and just like living life like she does for a while, and following that
yeah.
journey for a bit. So I saw India from all different kinds of lenses and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
feel
just
like I
love
almost
it.
lost myself for a few years and then came back to me, you know, and it's very cheesy. Everyone says, oh, you come to India to find yourself. And I was like, I think I came to India and lost myself actually, because you're like, what is going on? Who am I? What am I doing?
It's
Yeah.
so true that everyone says that, isn't it? Comes to India to find yourself.
Yeah, that's quite a
Yeah, and then
cliche, I think.
it
Yeah.
is. I think it is. It is.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, okay, stop, and you just stop because you did the St. Martin's and you did artist,
Yeah.
artistic things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you just so you were there, you did the Bollywood.
Hmm.
Well done, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm really impressed.
I've stepped
But
into it. Yeah. Let's say.
yeah, but still. Uh, and then you decided to stay there
Yeah.
and to,
It's an
yeah,
addictive lifestyle. It really is,
is
because,
it?
yeah. And the reason is because here, you can live as a freelancer doing voiceover work and acting. I've been doing that for like 8 years, and I
Wow.
didn't have a day job. And I know that I miss Europe a lot, but one day when I decide to be there again, I will have to look for some kind of
Yeah,
salaried day job there, even if it's part time or something. There has to be a constant there because of price of living, cost of
yeah,
living.
yeah,
And here we
yeah,
have that
yeah,
luxury. It's kind of, cost of living is so low, you can get away with it. And
yeah.
so you never know what job is going to come next. So it's that addictive thing. You'll have a month that's really good. You're like, wow, there's so much potential here. And you have a couple of months where it's really slow. So it's really up and down. Yeah.
But do you think it comes from, because I am a neurodivergent as you are,
Yeah.
do you think do we think we just get obsessed with that because we don't like to have the same routine all over again? We just want new things constantly.
Yeah. And that's when I look back at the things I did when I decided I'm obsessed with Bollywood. Like, I moved in with a Indian family in East London, and I started working in a sari shop, and I was like the only in Upton Park, like, so I could go and have my chai and samosa chaat on my lunch break. I was so obsessed that I had to
I
create
love
my
that.
Indian bubble in London. Yeah,
Wow.
and like performed on stage in Victoria Park with some big singers from
Wow.
India, and so I did some really eccentric things in when I was deep in my obsession. So that's what happens.
I
You'll be like,
love it.
I love this, but
Wow.
loving it isn't enough. I have to dive into it. That's what it feels like
Yeah.
every time when you have a special interest. I don't know if you can relate with me a little bit. You're like, you know.
Well, I think I have my obsessions, but I never went so deep as you did. Like it never passed in my mind. Well, probably yes, but I was like, you know what, it's okay. You just need to calm down.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, true.
but I
Yeah.
never had that. That is just amazing. But also because you draw, you paint, you do sculptures as well. And do you melt all together? Like you change also your way to be an artist?
Yeah, that's right. I feel like if I look at what my work was about in my master's, it was really about subculture, culture, and experiencing them firsthand. And I had, my whole theory of my art is ethnography, like being practiced by
Yeah,
an artist, like art ethnography, like that transdiscipline, the boundaries meeting between disciplines. And I was
yeah,
always
yeah.
interested in playing with that. So then when I came here, I felt like when I'm experiencing different cultures, I'm just living the art now for a while, and
Yeah,
waiting for that to become a project at some point. But like I'm just living the research almost, like embodying the art.
yeah.
That's what it felt like. Yeah. Yeah. And
Just
so
and what? Sorry, go on.
no, just like whenever I'm back home long enough, the art alter ego kind of awakens really. So when I was back for
Yeah,
several months during COVID, I did an art exhibition in my village with two other female artists, and so I get back to the art making when I'm back there, but it's kind of like
yeah.
the different alter
You
egos
just go,
operating
yeah.
in different countries.
I just love it, because I need to go back. Next year, I'm going back to Brazil. I'm Brazilian.
Oh,
So next year, I'm going back to Brazil after 29 years. So I wonder what my alter ego gonna be there, if I will just become crazy back again, or if I will just embrace my roots and say, you know what, fuck it, Europe, I'm just moving in there.
yeah. So wow, that's such a long time that you haven't been back in between.
I know, never. And you know what? Everyone asks how come. It's never passed in my mind
Hmm.
until last year when I felt, I moved here in Europe when I was 11. So I was a
Right. So
kid.
you moved with family. That's
Yeah, I
why,
moved with
right?
family. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So then I started to be more European than Brazilian. So
Hmm.
now that I feel I need to go back, like I'm from Rio, so I am the essence of Brazil.
Wow. Yeah.
So
So
I'm
you
like,
need
oh my
to
God, what is going to happen? You know?
when you reconnect with your roots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I can't wait for that. So let's see how it goes. But I love this idea of the alter ego that is just reawakened depending of the place that you are. It's just an
Yeah.
amazing idea
Yeah. I think
or
it's a
better
cool
vision.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking forward to hearing about what happens when you go.
Oh, I will tell you. Yeah, yeah. I'm preparing Andrea already. Like, I'm like, you need to speak Portuguese now. It's your
Wow.
time.
Get on Duolingo, Andrea.
Yeah. Do the right classes. I don't want to translate anything for you. It was like, well, I won't talk. I was like, okay, perfect. I'm the one talking all the time. I
Just
love that. And so right now, right now you are going back to the DJing. You are trying
yeah.
to go back, isn't it? Yeah. And also in that case, how like I'm so interested of your journey because when you read about you, you are just like, oh my God, like we have the same age mostly, and you've done so many things. Then I'm
What's it
like,
feel
she
like?
lived 1,000. I know, but it
Oh
seems that
yeah,
she lived thousands of lives, you know?
that's
And I'm
also true.
like, yeah, so how everything that you do now has a connection, has a meaning of where you are, who you are becoming, is maturing, or is just you are just opening up new boxes of what it comes and comes.
I have no idea. I mean, I don't feel like I'm maturing, you know? I feel more like Peter Pan that's like, no, I don't want to grow up. No, no. Like rebelling against it almost. So, yeah,
I love
it's not
this.
as thought out as the way you mentioned it, but having
Yeah,
spent so many years working in this film industry, it's like we have to do ad shoots, digital ads, corporate AVs. It's not only films, right? Sometimes web series and little characters here and there. But a lot of
yeah,
the time, you're just doing someone else's script. And the experience is really
yeah,
fun and it's a challenge. But if you're an artist, you're like, well, this isn't my idea. I'm not so invested in that product, or I don't care about that product or advertising. So that's why I'm
yeah,
trying to get back to DJing and art in the long run, because where you have creative control, that's what I
yeah. It's
miss.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
And,
it's different because it's you.
and I've been watching the underground scene here
Yeah,
growing and burgeoning and blossoming. And so that's still something I want to explore. And as I said to you, when I explore something, I want to be a part of it too. So
yeah.
dive in. So that's one way to do it. I'm like, yes, I want to DJ at all these amazing events. Yeah.
And how is the background? Like for me, India is an amazing place, but I think that we probably had the same situation that you had. Like it never passed in my mind. It's not on my list.
Yeah.
Sometimes I am like, oh, I should visit, and sometimes I'm like, no, no, I don't feel it. Also
Yeah.
because there is that cliche that really um, bother me. You go to India to find yourself, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want to find myself. I'm
You don't
okay with
need to
it.
go there for that.
Yeah,
Yeah. There is so many different elements to it.
yeah.
It depends what you want, but yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah. But how is the subculture in there? Like, is something like it's becoming like East London, or is completely something new that we don't have here in Europe?
it's getting maybe towards like East London, but it's still behind in the sense that it's still way smaller when you look at like the
Yeah,
amount of like cool queer parties happening here and all. It's like, and like the drag scene and the voguing scene, they're all, and like balls where people are voguing and everything. It's here and it's happening, but it's only the
wow.
last couple of years been arriving. So in
Yeah,
comparison, it's way smaller. And then when you look at the population in Mumbai, it's so huge. So
yeah,
like, it's still like a tiny minority and versus the average person on the street type thing. So it's still a very
yeah,
different experience.
yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, from like
It's
walking around with my pink hair, I'm obviously
yeah, and
stand
then
out.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and how it is because like you did all the movies, advertisements, and more. And how was for you to work with this culture, with the Indian culture? It was difficult. It was difficult for them to accept you. Or they were like, "Oh, amazing, you are there. I'm happy to have you."
No, there's such a hierarchy on film sets and shoots
Yeah,
here that there's a lot of foreigners that come from other countries like Russia and different areas that their economy is not very strong. So a lot of them would
yeah,
come and live in Goa or even some here, and they'll work as background artists for not very much money, but to them it's like a decent amount. Yeah, there's this hierarchy on set here where it's kind of sad. Like they'll treat those background people a bit like cattle. Yeah, and so
oh,
if you're there, yeah, you're just like, oh, go in that tent. You don't get treated very well. So I I found out very quickly. I was like, well, now I've got to have my own
and
vanity. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, if you if you at least have a scripted character, you get treated very differently, and that's kind of what you want, really. But yeah. It is strange.
But do they stop you in the street to take pictures? Because you look so different in
Yeah,
that.
if I go anywhere that's a little bit touristy, and it's funny because, yeah, I've been here years and years, but still, if
Yeah,
I'll go to like a beach or any site where Indian tourists also go traveling within
yeah.
India, you do still get it a lot. People want selfies and stuff,
Wow.
will swarm you and I'm like, if you wanted it because you recognize me, that's something else. You just want it because I'm a foreigner? No, not really up for that.
And here's the vanity comes out.
Yeah.
Stands out.
Yeah.
Love it.
But it's really funny because I started this series on Instagram searching for the best croissant in Mumbai.
Yeah,
and
you
a lot of
did, yeah.
People started coming up to me because of that. Even though I don't have like a massive
Wow.
following, but they reached a lot of people. Like, that's interesting. I was just at a club night on Saturday and someone came up to me and was like, I like your croissant reels. It's such a random thing, but that's something that got a lot of attention here. Yeah. Like,
Well, they
cafes
love
and-
food.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But how it passed in your mind, like to do like that reels with the croissant and more? Like,
Well, because
from wake up down.
it seems so
Because
random
Andrea
to you.
told me, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, she's like doing, I was like, croissant. And then I was like, oh, well, okay, fair enough.
Well, I'm half French. My mum's from Paris. So,
Yeah.
I grew up like every school holiday going to France, usually Paris or like through Paris and then somewhere else. But so there's like a huge nostalgia for me. And when you live far away, like when you live in another continent, you start becoming more nostalgic for all those things. So and I'm just a real nerd for like a really cute cafe. So and I love editing videos, so it all just made sense. I was like, I'm probably gonna be taking loads of pictures here anyway. I might as well just start this, make a series. It's like an excuse to start going to all these places. So that's how it happened.
Oh my God, it's like from out of nowhere, you just connected everything and then boom, that's the idea. Bam.
Yeah.
And can I ask you this, like your family, when you decided to move here, how they took that? Because, it's not that you are moving to Paris, that you can take a train.
I know.
It's like, I'm going to the other side of the world.
I don't think they loved it at all. But the thing is, yeah, I'd always feel really sad. I'd always get really emotional every time I come home, and then when I leave, it's like, bye. But when I first left, I thought, let me just go and conquer Bollywood and do something cool, and then I'll be back in 6 months or a year, and then it just didn't happen. So I guess even back then, they never realized I'd be here so long. So, yeah. But when I first went, sorry, my mum was like,
no, tell me.
Don't run off to India and fall in love with some man and never come back. I was like, oh, don't be silly. And I kind of ended up doing that, yeah. Sorry, Mum.
Just love it. But because now, how many years you are living there? It's more than 6.
I know, and I like to round it down because it freaks me out. But I'm like, yes, I've been working for 6 years, but actually, I got here in 2015, so it means it'll be a decade. It'll be a decade next March, so I'm in my 9th year.
Wow, and that is amazing.
That's crazy.
Like that, can you call yourself like a bit of Indian nowadays, or you are too far?
I don't think so, but I do feel like I am we call it a Mumbaikar. It's the word for someone who lives in Mumbai. So I do feel like I am a Mumbaikar. Yeah, I've been here long enough for that. Yeah.
I love this. Like, it's just the way that the way that they are, or the way that they live life, or is much more the culture that's why they call Mumbaikar.
Yeah, it's just a Mumbai city dweller, like someone who's been here long enough to know that few things about here and there, where to go for this, where to go for that. It's just you like a Londoner. A Londoner is a Just someone who
it's
knows
true.
London well enough to, and has lived there long enough to feel like, yeah, I'm a Londoner now. It's just like that. Yeah.
Do you ever miss London that much to say, I want to go back?
I kind of do a little bit, and I always imagine that one day I'll be based there again. But, you know, our group of friends and everything was so multicultural and from different countries that,
Yeah.
like, most of us aren't there anymore. So one day I'll go back, or even split my time, but it will be it'll never be like it was then, because so many people
No, it
have
will
left.
never be. Yeah.
It's very
That's what I
London's like
think all
that.
the time. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that I
Yeah.
miss the London of that time.
How long were you there?
You know, I stayed for almost 6 years from 2012. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, the
so
first 2 years I didn't like it at all. Won't lie to
really?
you. I think it was almost your situation when you moved to India. The cultural clash, it was huge because I am Brazilian. Then I lived for a long time in Italy, so we are really passionate. We don't give monkeys about what comes out from our mouth.
Yeah.
And then you arrive in London, and yeah, you have all these people from all over the world. But then when you are with British people, you need to pay attention to what comes out from your mouth.
Oh, really?
So at the beginning, I was like, oh, they don't get me. But then when I understood that I had to tone it down a little bit and don't be like explosive and dramatic about everything, I was like, oh, I loved that. Like after the 2 years, I just loved that. It was a great experience. Plus, I lived in East London, so
Yeah.
like was party all the time.
Right. East London has my heart still. I'm like, if I ever move back to the UK, it has to be there, you know.
Yeah.
Just because that feels like home.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. I miss quite a lot of the craziness of that period. I don't think I can do clubbing anymore, to be honest with you. The music bothers me nowadays. I don't know why. It's just happened.
It's when you're not used to being in that loud environment so much, right? Yeah. I get you, because I don't party very often at all anymore. So when I went to a techno night, I don't know, quite a few months back, I was like, oh, it's so loud. How am I going to DJ if I'm feeling like this? But honestly, like, I went out in Hackney, I think, not last Christmas, but the one before. That's ages ago. But I went out to a really cool warehouse party, and, you know, I got home at 5 the next day. So I was like, oh, I've still got it in me, you know. It's like, it might only happen.
I have
might
to try.
only happen once every 2 years, but it's, you know.
Because I love to go to a gig and a concert, but every time that I think of myself in a club, I already start to, oh my God, the music, people sweat. I can't deal with sweat quite easily. And I won't be able to talk. And I'm like, it comes all the anxiety, you know, like I don't want to, but probably I should just try and just go for it.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I think we can separate the two. Like, get some of the, I don't know if you've got those nice loop earplugs that kind of filter the sound. Yeah. And then just tell yourself, like, I'm not going to try and talk to people. I'm just going to go dance. And then, yeah, because I know what you mean. The rest of the time when I go out, I want to hear people and just chill with a nice drink and some food. So yeah, we can separate the two. The clubbing is just for the dancing and the music. Yeah.
Just going with the earplug never passed my mind before. Can you imagine that?
Oh.
Almost there on my 40s, going to the club with the earphones. It's like, okay, fine. I'm done.
I think it's a normal thing to do these days. Like, every DJ does it as well now for ear protection. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it can become like, here we go. This is idea, like an amazing earplug company that can become really fashion just for 35 years old people up that wants to go to the club, wants to look cool with the
I feel like it's a little
here
too
we
loud.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, you should market that. The tagline's like, can you turn it down a bit, please?
So now you are there. you are doing your artistic your croissant reels. You are going back to DJing. You are like still going through. How do you feel? What is going to happen for you? Like if you had like a time frame of the future, what would you do? Like, are you still keen to stay there for a long time? Are you still like you? I know that you said I wanted to go back and to be there and engage with the subculture that is growing up
Mm,
in that, and that is
yeah.
just amazing. But how you feel in your artist journey?
Yeah, I feel like I would love to give it a couple more years and then really be based more in different places, like splitting my time, being in France, being in London, being around Europe a bit more.
Of this,
That's a
yeah,
dream, though. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. And then, even if something keeps pulling you back, you can be back and forth, but just
yeah.
shift the balance. That's what I'm aiming towards. Yeah, because at the moment
Well,
I'm 90% here, 10% there. So I want to,
balanced out.
yeah.
But actually, with everything that you do, I think it's quite easy, isn't it? I'm just joking. It's like not really.
Well, no, if I was really organized, if I was a master entrepreneur, in theory, yeah, there are. Yeah, if you can be a digital nomad, right, and
Yeah,
have
yeah,
your way of earning money wherever you are. But I actually, all my work is here at the moment.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
understand that.
which is
And
odd.
what is? Well, it's not like yeah,
No, because I'm doing a lot of voiceover and everything. Because there's no reason I couldn't do it there one day. But it's just when you've been working so long in one place, you've spent years of just my name getting out there, and calls just come to me when there's like a requirement for a voiceover for something. How do you do that in London? You'd be starting at square one, I guess. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
It's probably true, But like you have thousands of ideas, and I don't know when I'm speaking with you, and I'm just like, I can see you in 2 years everywhere, like,
That's the dream.
everywhere,
Everywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
everywhere,
I can see you
doing
everywhere.
thousands of things, because like again, and I'm gonna repeat that when I was reading yesterday what you do, the articles and more, I was like, oh wow, like you never stop to say to you, oh wow, never.
No, I think I've always seen it as a problem, not a good thing. It's sort of like when people are like, "So what do you do?" It's like the dreaded question, like, "Oh, what do I do?" And that it bothers people. They're like, "Yeah, but what's your favorite?" And people really want to hear you say, "I'm mainly this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Like,
do.
yeah, even if I just mention a few things, like, but which is your favorite one? It's hard to choose, right? How do you choose like the one? But I suppose there are some people out there that
Yeah,
very clearly have that one thing that's their principal, like actors
yeah,
and musicians who've always had their main focus. So I've always envied
yeah,
people like that, right? They just go
yeah,
down one
yeah.
stream of focus.
But I think we are in an age right now, 2024, that it's much more better to do thousands of things instead of one.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I
That's true.
mean?
A lot of people are doing that now as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it's so boring to do it was always boring for me just to do one thing. And now that I can do thousands of things, yeah, definitely I get confused in the direction, ideas, and things because my mind.
Yeah.
And this is what I was telling yesterday to a friend. I'm washing my dishes, and then words pops in my mind. I need to stop and write them down, and then I have these and these. I'm like, okay, what should I do
Then
now?
you forget that you're washing dishes. You're like in the other part of the house sorting something out.
You know what I mean? Like then I clean the house and then pop up something. I'm like, and I know and I think that is the burden of having an interactive mind.
Yeah.
But I think it's also the beautiful part of it, that you do thousands of things, and I don't know it's for you and if you can resonate. Sometimes I don't realize it, like I have a disconnection towards what I do, and because I wrote a book, And
Yeah.
Andrea was like, you wrote a book. And I'm like, yeah, but everyone can do it. And he was
Not
like,
at
no. I was
all.
like, yeah.
Not at
No.
all. I was impressed as well. I was like, I need to read it as well, by the way. It looks really cool. And hats off to you. Like, I'm not a writer at all. Not everyone
Yeah, but
has
for
the
me, it's
gift
like
of
everyone
words
can do
like
it.
that. It's definitely
Yeah.
something to be proud of, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not always I'm proud. It's like I think that it's part of the keep changing, trying to, it's never enough.
Yeah, well, I
And
know that
this is
feeling.
what I hate the most, is the never enough.
Yeah, it's
It's
never
like it's
enough.
never enough, never enough. Yeah, yeah.
But that's also a
So,
good thing. It means you're ambitious.
yeah, but sometimes I'm tired of the ambitions.
I know. I feel like that. Like every idea of mine is so out there, like DJing or having an exhibition, and then they're all related to like exchanges with people in the outside world and presenting ideas, and I love it. But sometimes you're like, oh, can I just hide under a
Yeah.
rock? Like just like it's quite tiring as well. But
It is,
yeah,
it is. And yeah, because sometimes I just want to do the same thing, just like hide and have a break in my
yeah,
mind, you
yeah.
know? When people say, well, I have a break, I'm like, I never had a break. What you
Yeah.
talking about?
Your brain never switches off.
Damn it.
Are you planning to write another book in the future?
So your question, like, I mean, I have thousands of ideas. Um, yeah.
It's
It's like,
coming then.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. No, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fact, you know, I don't know, like when I write, it's such I call it a painful, it's a really painful experience because I don't know from where all the words comes from. And I just sit there and I'm like, oh my God, what is passing on in my mind? You know, I feel like a channeled
That's
situation
crazy.
going on.
Yeah, you're just
And I'm
channeling
like,
it and it's coming out of you
yeah,
automatically.
yeah. And I'm like, why? What's my problem? You know, I just, like, what's my
That's
problem?
pretty cool. That's just something you're just channeling automatically. It's just coming through you and your higher
Yeah.
consciousness just goes, "Oh, we've got an idea now." And it just comes out. Sounds like kind of
Yeah.
effortless, really. It's like
It's yeah, it's kind of like sometimes I think that I'm a who kind of psychic or something
yeah,
like
it's like
that.
you're
That's just like
possessed. You're possessed by that idea when it happens.
The Exorcist is me. It's not the main character of the movie. It's me. Yeah. Well, this is like the word of writing and more. So, Ellie, I have one question. This is the last question. The last question is a question that I do to all my guests. If you could go back to the little girl of, I don't know, 7, 10, 12, it's up to you. What would be your message to her nowadays?
That's a hard one. Yeah,
I know.
I don't know what I would say, but yeah, it's quite sad. I just tell myself to just believe it. She should just believe in herself and keep going and not doubt herself. And I don't know, she would never in a million years expect to be doing what I'm doing. So I wouldn't spoil her surprise. I say, you just wait and see what's in store for you ahead.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So if people wants to find you, where they can find you? Like if they want to see your art, if they want to see your page, like Instagram page and more.
Yeah. So my Instagram is there, Ellie Fawcett. I have like 5 ats on Instagram because you know this obsession with categorizing everything. But
Yeah.
I have my main one, then I have the art one. But you can always find me through my main one anyway, Ellie Fawcett. And I have an art website which I update once in a blue moon. That's I'm Eleanor Fawcett on there, Eleanor Fawcett. And yes, I have a SoundCloud which I will be reviving very soon. So, but you know, you can use the link tree, so everything will always be linked on my Instagram. From there, you can visit my DJ page and my art page and everything. So that's the easiest way, I think.
Perfect. I will put anyway all the details on the description of the podcast if anyone wants to reach you out. And Ellie, thank you so much for this conversation. I really
Oh,
enjoyed it. It was so
thank you.
nice.
It's been lovely. Yeah, thanks for having me. I've never been on a podcast before, so very
It's the
excited.
first time. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
very exciting. Yeah.
Well, I'm pleased and honored. I'm really honored about that.
I'm honored. Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank
if
you.
you want also to see us, you will find this episode on YouTube as well. And thank you so much, all listeners, for being there. Thank you so much to put me back on the charts, Spanish charts. I still don't understand why, but it's okay. Love it. So thank you so much. And I will talk with you all next week.